expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Well, good morning, everybody. It's Friday, and we are here again with another coffee time with Blind United. I got Brittany and Pedro with me today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
All right.
Thank God it's Friday. Thank God.
TGIF, y'all. So hopefully everybody got their weekend plans in order. I guess ain't nobody got no plans.
I got a few plans. I'm gonna actually be with my daughter later. Hang out with her. We got an art showcase coming up this Saturday. Me and my better half that she's showcasing some of her art. They're doing something like that. And then Sunday, what are we doing? I think Sunday's the layback day. I'll probably be with my. Oh no! I gotta take my other kids, my daughter, and my son to family time.
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with spending time with the family.
Yeah,
nothing wrong at all. So anyway, we have two interest groups today. We have well, bottom line is whatever you need to know about Department of Rehabilitation, need to know how to achieve your goals, not somebody else's goals, meeting your, DOR counselor, whatever. We have a DOR counselor, Mr. Greg Hoffman. He'll be on today as he is every month on the last Friday of the month. Well, fourth Friday of the month anyway, at 2 p.m. Pacific time. But anyway, he'll be on there today to answer whatever your questions may be. He can tell you how to achieve your goals, achieve your plan, not what the plan they want to create for you. Not, the goal is for everybody to go back to work or do what, they want to do. But sometimes these counselors, they just want to, try to direct you in the direction they want you to go instead of the direction you want to go. So Greg is really good. He's going to help everybody out with that today at 2 p.m. So come check him out, listen, see what he's got to say, and ask your questions. Let him give you a hand. And he's one of us, y'all. I mean, he went to training center with me. He's doing what he's doing for the same reason I'm doing what I'm doing. We just got tired of all the red tape and stuff that we had to go through to achieve our goals. So he went that direction. I went this direction. And now we're coming back together and we're trying to do everything we can to help you folks live your best life. So again, 2:00 this afternoon, come check us out. That's on our Blind United interest groups. And then later on, we have movie night, which I do every Friday night. So on that one tonight, we're going to be showing, it's actually a really, really good movie. It's called as good as it gets. It stars Jack Nicholson, and he is a gentleman that portrays someone with obsessive compulsive disorder. You know what I mean by that? I mean, like when he closes his door, he has to, twist the locks 3, 4 times, and he's got like 5 locks on his door. Just a whole lot of different little crazy stuff. So he's kind of a hard character to deal with in the movie. So it's funny, it's dramatic, and there's also a love story in there as well. So come check it out. It's a really good movie. I'm pretty sure everybody enjoyed. Get all your snacks, get all your beverages, whatever you choose, whatever your favorite snack beverage is. Come on, get it, grab it, hang out. Let's listen to a movie together. So that's
And
all I can say.
what about for Saturday and Sunday? I know we don't do
Well,
coffee time.
Saturday, it's end of the month, so we don't really have a lot this Saturday. I think what I have Saturday is probably going to be just the what is it, RS Games, which we'll do that at 6 o'clock. We'll get together and go
Guys, come
to
and it gets
and
crazy in these games. Guys, come play some RS games. It goes down. It
yeah,
goes
we
down with
have a
the
lot of fun
Uno.
with that. We do have a lot of fun with that one as well. And then on Sunday, this will be the last Sunday where I do the basic iPhone every week. Starting next month, I'm gonna break it down to maybe the first and third, or second and fourth. I haven't really decided yet, but we're gonna break that down to twice a month instead of every Saturday, or I'm sorry, every Sunday. So again, that will be Sunday at 6 o'clock. Or no, that's 5 o'clock, right, Britt? Yeah, that's 5 o'clock.
No, it's 6 o'clock.
Is it? I don't know. I don't.
I believe it's 6 o'clock PlayStation time.
We got so many interest groups. I just get so confused sometimes trying to keep up with all of it, without actually looking at the schedule. There's a lot to keep in my head, but anyway, you'll see the reminder if you're on the list, on the email list. You'll get the reminder about it. If you're not on the email list and would like to be on the email list, just reach out to Ed or info@blindunited.org, and they just put in the subject line, add me to the email list, and we'll get that done. And that way you'll get those daily reminders. You'll get a copy of that schedule. You'll get a lot of other content that we have that we put out. As an example, we were talking about Greg. Greg often sends me a lot of different job opportunities that come through DOR, a lot of different free training opportunities. Just a lot of stuff comes from him on that side. So, you get more than just a reminder about what we're doing with, our interest groups and stuff like that. We also try to give you some content that might help you to, maybe get a career, get some training so you can get a career, or whatever the case may be, housing, utility stuff, all different kind of stuff, anything to help you with your everyday life. Like I said, all we're trying to do here at Blind United is help everybody live their best life. So again, come on out, hang out with us, see what we're all about. Don't listen to the boo-boo that some folks might say. We got haters everywhere. So come check it out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, I'm done with my stuff for the beginning.
Well, Monica said good morning, everybody, and that she hopes that everybody has a good weekend. And Ray, our fitness person for the interest group, she said good morning, Ed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
And good morning to you as well, Monica.
Yeah, good morning, Monica.
So, all right.
Which story should we start with again?
Well, we're going to start with the astronaut. That's the longest one. We're going to get that one out of the way, and then we'll move on from there.
All right. Let me see.
He missed a chance to be the first Black astronaut. Now, at 90, he's going into space. Edward J., Dwight Jr. has waited a long time for his ride into space. In the 1960s, he seemed poised to become America's first black astronaut. That dream was never realized. Now, at age 90, he's about to finally get his shot aboard a Blue Origin rocket. The opportunity is a curiosity more than anything else, Dwight says. They called me up and asked me if I was interested. And of course I said yes. While Dwight won't be the first African American in space, that honor went to Guyon Bluford Jr. In 1983, he will be the oldest person to go there, edging out, by a few months, Star Trek actor William Shatner, who flew aboard a Blue Origin rocket in 2021. For many his age, a journey into space would seem unthinkable. Dwight says he's ready to go. He points out that the rigors of his upcoming flight won't be much different from what he experienced as a test pilot in the Air Force. "I've pulled more Gs than any person on Earth," he says with a wry smile. "I've been high enough to see the curvature of the Earth. I've been doing things like that most of my life." Space health expert Dorit Donaville says the 11-minute flight of Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket means many of the concerns about the long-term effects of orbital and deep space missions won't come into play. "The main thing we worry about is the G-forces," says Donaville, director of the Translational Research Institute for Space Health at Baylor College of Medicine. "Those G-forces cause blood to drain from the head, and that's an issue for anyone launching into space, regardless of age." However, she points out that the seats aboard Blue Origin's rocket are angled at 20 or 30 degrees. As you're experiencing the G-forces, you're getting it through the chest, which is not affecting your head, Donaville says. It's distributed through the chest, which really shouldn't matter very much. And then there's the landing. The crew capsule will separate from the booster and come down under a set of parachutes, emitting a last-minute retro thrust to reduce speed to about 2 miles per hour to cushion the impact. "It's not even a controlled crash. It's a crash," Donaville says. Still, she anticipates no issues. No launch date set. Blue Origin has not announced a launch date yet, but Dwight and his crewmates will train for 2 days before liftoff at the company's launch site 1 in western Texas, not far from the Mexico border. The company, owned by billionaire Jeff Bezos, declined to disclose the per-passenger cost of the flight, but says Dwight's seat is being sponsored by Space for Humanity and Blue Origin, with additional support from the Jason and Jamie Robinson Family Foundation. Jason Robinson, who flew on a previous Blue Origin flight, is on the NPR Foundation Board of Trustees. Leland Melvin, a retired NASA astronaut who flew 2 space shuttle missions to the International Space Station, says it will be good to see Dwight finally get his due all these years after he first trained for space. Dwight sees his upcoming spaceflight as the climax to an interesting story. His own story, that is. One of the earliest chapters begins at an airfield in Kansas City, Kansas. As a child, Dwight's fascination with aviation led to odd jobs cleaning aircraft owned by wealthy flyers. But even then, he had greater ambitions. "I told them I didn't want their nickels and dimes for cleaning airplanes anymore," he says. "I wanted to fly." At age 8, he got his first flight. Dwight was equally interested in art and earned a scholarship to pursue his passion after high school. His father would have none of it. Art wasn't a real career, he insisted. Dwight should study engineering instead, so he enrolled at a junior college, receiving an associate's degree in 1953, the same year he enlisted in the Air Force. After finishing primary flight training, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant. Dwight also got a Bachelor's of Science in Aeronautical Engineering from Arizona State University. Discrimination was an ever-present reality in the armed forces at the time, but as a skilled pilot, he made captain. Kennedy wanted a black astronaut. That's when President John F. Kennedy, eager to link his administration's push for civil rights to the country's early space exploration efforts, asked for a black astronaut. At the time, it was test pilots who became astronauts, and there were no black test pilots. So, Dwight was invited to attend the Air Force's newly opened Aerospace Research Pilot School, ARPS. But when he got the invitation letter, he almost threw it out, Dwight recalls. His Air Force peers got a big laugh out of it, telling him that all those guys have swagger, and it's a club, he said, referring to the all-white astronaut corps. They said, they're not going to let you get in that club. And, of course, they were right, he says. It was a huge career gamble. Dwight's father, who played baseball in the Negro Leagues, was strongly opposed. His mother, though, changed her son's mind. She said, "You're going to do this," because she was thinking it would be uplifting the race and racial pride, he says. Upon entering the flight test program, Dwight experienced immediate pushback that he says was rooted in racism. He says Chuck Yeager, the famed test pilot who ran the school, resented having to accept a black candidate. Yeager, who died in 2020, wrote in his memoir that his only issue was Dwight's piloting skills, which he described as average. Once on the astronaut track, Dwight became a minor celebrity, especially in the black community. He appeared on the cover of magazines such as Ebony and Jet. But he also endured taunts of Kennedy's boy because of the president's support. Kennedy's 1963 assassination nearly derailed Dwight's training, he says. Days after the president's death, lo and behold, I had orders in my mailbox shipping me out of the country, he says. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, the president's brother, intervened to keep him in the program, according to Dwight. He stayed in the Air Force for a few more years, but it became increasingly clear that he would not be selected as an astronaut. When I found out it wasn't going to happen, that's when I left the program, he says. I just packed my bags and left. After the Air Force, Dwight, who eventually settled in Denver, became a computer systems engineer for IBM, later opened a restaurant, and worked as a real estate developer before being drawn back to his childhood love of art. Despite having little formal training, he was commissioned in 1974 to create a sculpture of Colorado's first black lieutenant governor, George Brown. From would-be astronaut to sculptor. From there, his reputation as a sculptor blossomed. In 1977, he earned a Master's of Fine Art in Sculpture from the University of Denver. He specializes in sculpting historic African American figures. Among his more notable pieces are busts of jazz greats Dizzy Gillespie and one of Louis Armstrong on display at the National Museum of American History. Melvin, who is African American, says when he met Dwight, he didn't know much about his backstory. I got a copy of his book and I read some of the stuff that he had done, he says. He reminded me of Katherine Johnson, the NASA mathematician who led an all-woman group of computers who made vital orbital calculations for the agency's early crewed space flights. Their story was later featured in Hidden Figures, the book and 2016 film. Dwight and Melvin became close friends. In recent months, they have worked together on the space race, a documentary released last year about the contributions and experiences of black astronauts. Dwight's own story is prominent in the film. He's not only funny, he's self-deprecating, Melvin says of Dwight. And one quality stands out. He's got grit. But the other thing that his mother taught him was grace, he says. So, when being an astronaut didn't work all those years ago, he gracefully pivoted to doing something else. It was just as impactful, especially in the black community, which was his sculpture. He will now get his chance to do some zero-G floating and look at the planet from another vantage point, Melvin says. Now back to the coffee time crew.
Well, I'm glad this brother finally gonna get his chance to go up there and look down at the planet. I don't know. I guess it slipped my mind. I didn't realize Bezos owned this. What is it? Blue, whatever this is.
Blue Origins.
Okay, yeah, Blue Origin. So he's in direct competition with Elon Musk, I guess. And
Yes, they'll be fighting for these contracts from the government and all that. They'll be back and
right.
forth with the they'll be back and forth. They'll be feuding sometimes, but I think that's all in billionaire fun, I guess. If you ain't feuding, then who knows what you're doing, I guess.
I like
But
the way you said that billionaire fund.
yeah, that's a billionaire fun right there. They feuding with their companies, so they're trying to flex on each other. But
Right.
look, honestly, um, we did need it. Private companies to start getting into aerospace, and start uh start getting these rocket ships or spaceships that for example Elon Musk is working on. Blue Origins is working on something similar also. We need to start building an infrastructure, at least a jump off point that it's orbiting around the Earth, or it's in higher orbits. It could just be have a that's where you land the spaceships. Already leave them up there, and you could just send fuel or whatever you need up there, and boom, and the spaceships can take off from there to the moon or to whatever planet they want to go do research, or go get the private citizens to go up there and have tourism. So we
Right,
need to
right,
get
right.
that started, especially within the public sector, try to get the tourism going. I think people will be more involved to bigger space projects if they knew they might have a stake in the game to go see it all and be in that moment of being in the heavens.
I mean, I hear you, Pedro, and I agree to a certain extent, but let's keep it 100. The average person, they can't
Mm.
even afford what this guy's getting ready to do. And technically, as we were talking earlier, he's technically not going into outer space. He's just going right up against the edge of the atmosphere where you can experience the weightlessness. You can look down at the planet and see, like you're looking from space because you're just that close to outer space. But technically, you're still in, like I said, within the atmosphere. I mean, I
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
that we need that competition. Why? Because uh, as long as the government is footing the bill, they're not really interested in cutting the costs. Now that corporate is getting involved with it, even though it's just, Bezos and Musk, they're still trying to make sure that they can make this more, affordable. They're trying to make sure they got more reusable equipment, stuff like that, to where they can go up and down without having to put something brand new every time. And I
And
also agree that space travel is going to be a lot more affordable when you can launch from, per se, as you say, a space station versus trying to launch from the planet's surface. It just takes so much energy to get out of our atmosphere that you're going to
mhm.
save millions, if not billions, of dollars by being able to take off from outer space. So,
Yes, yes, and the more competition, the cheaper tickets or tourism can be. Even though we need to start doing this, especially I think within our country in the United States. There's a lot of materials and elements that we need to mine. You hear about astro mining and all this stuff, and this could help out a lot with this could be new jobs. This could be all kinds of new things. This is the 21st century uh like infrastructure for outer space. I think it would be big for tourism in a way, even for experimenting, start getting the population ready for space travel and stuff like that. For the future of the generations that are coming up, like our kids and our grandsons and grandkids.
well, just like William Shatner says in the beginning of Star Trek, the final frontier. I mean,
That's
it's
one of them,
going
yes.
on right now. But as we get up there and we start moving around, we're going to find some more frontiers, some more areas that we haven't really been able to explore at this point. But yeah, being able to do it from orbit around the planet is going to make it a lot easier to go and do all of these different things. And then I mean, it's amazing to me, science. You can supposedly tell what a planet's mineral makeup is by looking at it through a camera. But again, if there's a material up on those other planets that can, help us sustain life here on this planet, I'm with it. Go for it. Go get it. Bring it back. Let's make life better.
Yeah, and they figure all this stuff out, but the different telescopes, it's not just the cameras. They have those are optical lens scopes right there, but they have radio frequency telescopes that could analyze the frequency sounds. They got the infrared spectrum that they could detail certain elements. So we have all kinds of different telescopes that see with different type of technology that we need to be funding. I know they get expensive, but they do reveal fundamental um, things that we need to know that could improve science, improve our health, our living of life. um the secrets of the universe, everything's there, even down to the quantum, even the origins of the universe. They got this new telescope, the James Webb, and it peers in deep, meaning it peers in the past, and it has raised certain questions about what it's been finding, and our understanding of our universe, how it has expanded, how it has gone through evolutions, and the beginning galaxies and the beginning stars. So it's raising so many questions. So now, we're getting more information and stuff. So space is something that I'm infatuated with. I
I
love
can tell.
space. Yes, I could go into deep things. Oh my God.
So,
But this
uh,
just the beginning right here. I would like to be
right,
one of
right,
them
right,
tourists,
right,
but I don't have vision now to see the
right.
stars, but I would
Uh,
like to go. Being weightlessness, I could experience that within the earth in one of those planes, but to see it for your
right,
own
right, right,
eyes is
right,
something different, and I
right.
think
And
this could be for the future generations. We will probably have way more astronauts out there, pilot
well,
astronauts at
I
that,
agree.
engineer astronauts, for different sectors.
Right. I mean, I agree. And again, I'm not taking away from anything from this brother. I mean, I'm glad he's getting his opportunity to go up there and do this. Even though, in all reality, I'm gonna call this a publicity stunt by Bezos. He's taking this gentleman up there. Why? Because it's newsworthy. It's a way for him to get in the news about what he's doing and stuff like this, and stuff like that. But
Well, the Blue Origins
uh,
company, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, for
publicity and
Florida.
marketing.
But at the same time, I'm also very interested. I'd like to check and see if I can find that documentary. What they talking about? This, what it was it called it? The space race, race to space, or whatever it was they were talking about in the article. Where I mean, it tells a story about him and Catherine and the computers and stuff working for NASA and stuff like that, and all the stuff that they had to endure, as they went through the times back then. I mean, you think about it, the guy that he had to deal with, this Chuck Yeager. I mean, I remember Chuck Yeager. He was a big time astronaut, and then what was it? If it wasn't for Armstrong, Neil, he would. Catherine's story wouldn't have came to light. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
For those that watched the movie Hidden Figures, you notice everybody was just walking right past these ladies, and he said, "No." He said, "Well, these folks stay out here. They must have something to do with the program. Let me go meet them." And then he was very impressed with what they do. And then, I mean, if you watch that movie, he became very impressed with what these black ladies were doing for NASA. So I'd be interested to
Well,
hear what other stories are
yeah,
involved in, from the African American community that helped us get into space.
yeah, and those ladies was basically the first NASA computer. They were making calculations. I mean, big calculations. Without them, they wouldn't achieve their mission. None of them folks that were trying to put them down, not shine the light on them. They were really smart. They calculated down everything. So that's a really tough job. Without them, I don't think they would have got off the ground.
Well,
Honestly.
or got back, because if you remember right in the
Hmm.
movie, Catherine is the one that figured out the math on how to get them out of orbit and back into the atmosphere.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
know.
saw the movie. I just read about them and their team and stuff. I didn't read about just her. I just read about their team.
Oh,
I
okay.
need to see that movie though. What you're talking about? It sounds super interesting. You
Oh,
know?
Oh,
it's a very good movie.
very,
Okay.
very good movie, Pedro. I mean, you would really enjoy it. Again, I mean, without those three, well, they only highlight three ladies in there.
But
One
it's
of them was Catherine. She was I mean, she was
the lead.
gifted with math. I mean, she was
Hmm.
just, I mean, oh man. And then the other lady, she was an engineer. You know, she came up with ideas during those early years when they were going up and they were getting ready to come back home. They were having trouble with the heat shields and stuff staying on the capsules, right? And she came up with ideas on how to, bond secure those heat shields on the craft so these guys wouldn't burn up on re-entry. And then the other lady who was basically a supervisor in charge of all of the computers, she could see that with that big IBM computer mainframe coming in, it was getting ready to put them out of a job. So what did she do? She instantly went and learned how to do programming within that IBM machine, and then she came back and taught all her so-called computers how to do that programming and made themselves invaluable to NASA to keep it going. So I mean, those three ladies were very, very instrumental in the space program. So
Yeah, yeah. So hey, Hidden Figures, guys, check it out. And
right,
that
right,
note,
right.
we're gonna cut to a quick commercial break, guys.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
You are cordially invited to Blind United's Color Party fundraiser on May 25th, 2024. Time 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Cost $15 per person. In advance. Deadline is May 6th, 2024. For more information, email at info@blindunited.com. Include in the subject line Color Party flyer. Now back to coffee time. You are cordially invited to Blind United's scholarship ceremony. Please join us in awarding 2 scholarship recipients in honor of Les Subotnick. Date: Sunday, May 19th, 2024. Held at Rodrigo's Mexican Restaurant, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. and Omni Access service goes there. Cost per person $37 in advance, which includes your meal, tax and gratuity. Deadline to turn in money, your meal selection, and beverage will be Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. You can contact Cheryl Thurston at cthurston74@gmail.com. We will see you there. Now back to the show.
All right. And when you come to any of Blind United events or anything pertaining to Blind United, please, please, please don't forget about Jimmy and You Can't Give. Bring that raggedy cane you got, that broken cane, the cane you just ain't using, that's sitting over in a corner collecting dust, whatever. We got people that need that cane and would be ever, ever so grateful to get that cane. So if you would just find a way to get that cane, you can reach out to Jimmy at youcangive.org. You can reach out to us at info@blindunited.org. And bottom line, we'll make sure that these folks get that cane. So please, please, please don't forget about those that don't have a cane. Think about what it would be like if you didn't have one. I think about that all the time, and that's what keeps me doing this with Jimmy year after year after year. I mean, he's given out over 2,500 canes to people to date, and I want to help him hand out another 25,000, whatever it takes. I just want to make sure that everybody on the planet that's dealing with blindness or visual impairment has the opportunity to have a cane and be able to move around and pursue their independence. So that's my plug.
Yep. And if you want to purchase a cane from Jimmy, he does custom canes. So if you want a cane with your favorite sports team logo, I don't know, weird color, Ed has a cane with eyeballs on it. So don't go cane, go custom cane. That's custom with a K.
Right,
All
right.
right.
Again, he will make it any way you want it. He will definitely do that for you. So go check him out. Jimmy's a good guy.
And the comments, Paul said good morning to all, and it's a good Friday. So good morning, Paul.
Good morning,
And George said good morning. So good morning, George.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, George. Good morning, Paul. And the upcoming story we got, it's in a lighter mood, even though the first one, I loved it. But
I did too.
this one is a little wacky. All right. Have you ever wanted a dog, a robot dog with a flamethrower? Hey, check this out. Hmm.
It's there. It's just
Somehow
slow to
this
start.
$10,000
There it goes.
flamethrower robot dog is completely legal in 48 states. Meet Terminator. It blasts fire up to 30 feet and has Bluetooth. If you've been wondering when you'll be able to order the flame-throwing robot that Ohio-based ThrowFlame first announced last summer, that day has finally arrived. The Terminator, what ThrowFlame bills as the first-ever flamethrower-wielding robot dog, is now available for purchase. The price? $9,420. Terminator is a quadruped robot with an arc flamethrower mounted to its back, fueled by gasoline or napalm. It features a 1-hour battery, a 30-foot flame-throwing range, and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity for remote control through a smartphone. It also includes a LiDAR sensor for mapping and obstacle avoidance, laser sighting, and first-person view navigation through an onboard camera. The product appears to integrate a version of the Unitree Go 2 robot quadruped that retails alone for $1,600 in its base configuration. The company lists possible applications of the new robot as wildfire control and prevention, agricultural management, ecological conservation, snow and ice removal, and entertainment and SFX. But most of all, it sets things on fire in a variety of real-world scenarios. Back in 2018, Elon Musk made the news for offering an official Boring Company flamethrower that reportedly sold 10,000 units in 48 hours. It sparked some controversy because flamethrowers can also double as weapons or potentially start wildfires. Flamethrowers are not specifically regulated in 48 U.S. states, although general product liability and criminal laws may still apply to their use and sale. They are not considered firearms by federal agencies. Specific restrictions exist in Maryland, where flamethrowers require a federal firearms license to own, and California, where the range of flamethrowers cannot exceed 10 feet. Even so, to state the obvious, flamethrowers can easily burn both things and people, starting fires and wreaking havoc if not used safely. Accordingly, the Terminator might be one Christmas present you should skip for little Johnny this year. Now back to the coffee time crew.
That's crazy. I mean, that's just crazy. I don't know. I guess if I lived out in the country or whatever, where I had a lot of weeds or whatever I needed to burn, it might make sense. Or I don't know, Paul. You might have been able to use that when you was up in Alaska to maybe thaw out some of them roads up there or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. A robotic dog that shoots flames up to 30 feet away. That's crazy.
You know, this is not being advertised to the average Joe. Even though it sounds like a cool tech guy, a cool tech thing, a cool gadget. It has Bluetooth, first person camera, connectivity, wireless connectivity. It has all kinds of sensors. Like what? But this is more like a rich a rich grown kid toy or a security reasons type thing, you know?
Well,
It's
yeah, it sounds like another one of them billionaire things. You know what I'm saying?
a billionaire club, you know what I mean? Because tell me, is government might not spend on that. If it becomes viable, 1 hour of use, all you get.
But think about the damage you could do in 1 hour with this robot dog walking around through a town and just shooting a flame at specific businesses or whatever and just set them on fire, keep moving. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could do a lot of damage with this thing. So, I mean,
Yeah, just
it's
remember your
crazy.
laws do apply. Laws do apply. But
Right.
it could be good for cleaning up vegetation, thawing roads. Even let's say when we have that blizzard that came and dropped so much snow,
Right,
it,
right,
it
right,
helped
right,
out there a little thawing certain things. I know they got some of the powders, the ones that move the snow, were also stuck.
right.
hmm
I
So
mean,
there is good
again,
applications.
right. And I'm quite sure we can find several practical uses for the thing. It's just, again, that's just crazy. I mean,
Hey,
again, I mean, I didn't even realize until this article. I thought flamethrower throwers were outlawed. Outside of the military. But now I'm finding out. Okay, well, most states you can have them, even California, which is surprising. But in California, okay, if it goes shoots beyond 10 feet.
hmm I I wonder who was the person that goes, we're gonna take man's best friend. You know what? They just put a flamethrower on him. Just make him a robot. Like I wonder the thought of the whole concept,
Right.
how he came about that, and this be nifty. I will have this as my bodyguard if I
A
could.
fire dog. Okay? I mean, that's basically what this is, a fire breathing robotic dog.
If
So,
it could guide me, whoa, we just broke another barrier.
hey, Britt, we got that part right there. We can turn that into a new guide dog, Britt. I mean,
Oh man, that would be great. Maybe team up with Glidance and be like, "Hey, y'all want
I
to be
want to put a
guide dogs?"
flamethrower on my glide. Oh my.
I mean, it offers protection as well. Back up before I burn you to a crisp.
Yeah. Hey, hey, you trying to make s'mores? Just put them all right there. And wow. Hey guys, we're having fun with that story, but yes, we had to bring it up for TGIF, for Friday, get us
Why
laughing.
not?
But
Why not? I mean, it again. It's crazy. I'm quite sure that again that there are. I mean, again, as I sit and think about it, I lived out, in the Midwest or whatever in the wintertime, and I had land, and you get snowed in. Okay, just okay, open the door, dig out a little spot so you can get your dog out the door, and then just start clearing the pathway all the way to the to the mailbox or whatever.
just
You
remember,
know,
snow turns into water, and that's water flow going some way.
right. So I mean, but I mean, again, there's probably going to be many different practical uses for it. But again, at $9,000, this is not for the average person. This is for you got to have a purpose for it to invest that kind of money, unless you just got Jeff Bezos' money. Or as they say, Elon Musk, he sold what he say 10,000 of them in 24 hours of a different type, but basically the same thing.
He sold out in 48 hours. That must have been one of the companies that bought him up.
It might have been. It might have
You
been.
never know. But in that note, we'll be right back, guys.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Blind United.
Hold on, guys. I actually got.
You are cordially invited to Blind United Scholarship Ceremony. Please join us in awarding 2 scholarship recipients in honor of Les Suletnik. Date: Sunday, May 19th, 2024, held at Rodrigo's Mexican Restaurant. 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. and Omni-access service goes there. Cost per person $37 in advance, which includes your meal, tax and gratuity. Deadline to turn in money, your meal selection, and beverage will be Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. You can contact Cheryl Thurston at cthurston74@gmail.com. We will see you there. Now back to the show.
Yep. Yep, guys. Any comments, Britt?
No comments, but I can't wait to have my tacos when we go to the scholarship dinner.
Exactly. So anyway, we're going to talk about this next story. This is something that, I mean, many of us have been waiting on. I think this is long overdue. There are certain folks that didn't want this to happen, but I believe it really needs to happen. I'm tired of being held hostage by our cable, and so on and so forth. So without saying any more and giving the story away, I'll let Pedro play the story.
The FCC restores net neutrality. What it means for the internet. Agency plans to start regulating internet service like a public utility, bringing back rules that ban fast lanes for certain websites. Net neutrality, a set of policies designed to prevent internet service providers from playing favorites among the websites they carry, is coming back. In a vote Thursday, the Federal Communications Commission classified internet service as a public utility. The definition is part of a new framework the FCC will use to regulate broadband networks. For years, internet service providers have sparred with regulators and activists over the rules for offering internet access to consumers and businesses. Net neutrality provisions introduced during the Obama administration were scrapped during the Trump presidency. The shifting rules haven't radically changed how the internet is delivered to consumers or how much they pay for it. Internet providers are likely to challenge net neutrality rules in court, meaning it could be months before they go into effect. What does net neutrality entail? Net neutrality rules typically bar internet service providers from assigning priority to certain web traffic or creating so-called fast lanes for certain websites. They also restrict providers from throttling or slowing down traffic to websites that don't pay up. Proponents say that the guardrails are critical to ensuring internet users have equal access to digital content and that deep-pocketed websites aren't given priority over smaller ones. Without rules, advocates say that companies such as Comcast could charge content owners such as Netflix to pay extra, akin to a toll, to have its videos delivered smoothly to viewers. Opponents of net neutrality say the rules are unnecessary and allege that the FCC is using the policy to expand its regulatory remit. The topic crept into pop culture around 2006 when the late Senator Ted Stevens, R. Alaska, described the internet as a series of tubes. His metaphor was mocked as simplistic by The Daily Show and other media, but also captured the public imagination. How could these rules affect consumers and their options for internet service? That depends on whom you ask. The foundation for the Commission's new internet rules, Title II of the Communications Act, allows the regulator to intervene if it determines a company is charging unreasonable rates. The order Thursday explicitly avoids rate regulation. Internet providers aren't convinced it is the last word. They fear the new order will open the door for future FCC rules that regulate prices. Some states have capped what internet service providers such as Verizon Communications and AT&T could charge low-income households. The FCC's rules don't prohibit providers from throttling internet service for consumers who are enrolled in plans with data allotments. The throttling would be allowed as long as the internet service provider is transparent about its rules and the action occurs without cherry-picking certain applications or websites. Internet providers' practices became a flashpoint in 2018 when Verizon throttled the Santa Clara County Fire Department's wireless internet service during a wildfire emergency. Verizon has called the throttling a customer support mistake. Proponents have used the episode as a reason why net neutrality rules should exist. Haven't we heard this before? Yes. In 2015, the FCC, under Obama-appointed Chairman Tom Wheeler, classified internet service as a utility and imposed net neutrality rules. Republicans called the rules a regulatory overreach. In 2017, the FCC, then under Trump-appointed Chairman Ajit Pai, rolled them back. It has been 7 years without federal net neutrality rules, and consumers haven't seen much change in how they experience the web. Net neutrality opponents, including the 2 Republican FCC commissioners, argue that is because the rules weren't needed in the first place. California was among the first states to step in and implement its own net neutrality rules. Some providers treated the state rules as a kind of de facto national standard. Why bring the rules back? FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel has said that she believes in net neutrality and that stronger regulatory authority over internet infrastructure would allow the agency to safeguard private sector networks against cybersecurity threats. The new rules would affect a range of companies that provide internet service, including cable companies, mobile carriers, and satellite internet providers. Those companies say the FCC's push could bring about more regulation, including at the state level, because the order doesn't preempt states from making their own rules. Providers must file public disclosures with the FCC if they fastlane or throttle any type of traffic. Those disclosure requirements discourage internet providers from playing favorites with internet traffic. Now back to the Coffee Time crew.
Well, again, I hope you guys see what I was talking about now. To me, this is very important. Again, like they said, we haven't seen much change in the way we have access to the internet. I'm going to say with one exception, and that would be cost, because although our access to the internet has not necessarily changed in the last 7 or 8 years, whatever the case may be, but the cost of accessing the internet definitely has, So I agree. It should be classified as a utility. I mean, what does that look like? I don't know. Maybe they're going to do some sort of a regulation where just like with electricity, the more you use, the more you pay. I mean, I don't know. Something's got to happen to get it under control. But at the same time, you got to do everything you can to make sure that, people that living in poverty and all of this kind of, in that lower section of life, they need access too. I mean, everybody has the right to have access to it. So I'm all
Yeah,
for this.
yeah, and you would think with internet access growing and growing for the last decade, it would have been cheaper because the infrastructure is there. In the early 90s, the infrastructure wasn't there. They were still building. There was still the evolution of the internet was still going on. You know what I mean? Once I'd say like what 2010, 2008 was when we started getting way faster internet. We started having more infrastructure. They already had these lines out already there. You know what I mean? And now being
Right,
in the 2024, you would think they will have way more infrastructure and be able to provide internet at a lower cost. Average internet bills around $80.
right.
to 100, even 150, depending on what you're trying to do.
Right. And then
And
then you get caught up in that other trap that they throw on you with like the cable company and stuff. Oh, well, we'll provide you internet, we'll provide you, your streaming, the HBO and all this other kind of stuff. We'll provide your home phone, all of this stuff. I mean, next thing you know, by the time you get through with that bundle, you're giving these folks, $250 a month. You know, that's a lot of money for people. I mean, especially, in the inner city, again, people living in poverty, they can't afford all that stuff. So, I mean, again, we need some
yeah, yeah.
regulation. We really do.
We do. We do need regulations because when you try to sign up for internet, they be like, okay, it's 100. Here's a flat 100 or whatever it may be, and then they tell you, but if you bundle it, it'd be cheaper. But then you come out paying like 150, 160 because now you have cable and internet. And then some tell you you can't get internet with us in the beginning unless you get a phone service and either
Right.
phone or cable.
You got to
What's that
bundle
about?
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
got to
have to.
bundle something.
And how
Yeah,
many of us, I know we still use the house phone, but there's a lot of us that don't need a house phone, but they want to push it on you, want to get that extra 40 whatever dollars it may be for that service. And we need regulations. We cannot have internet ISPs picking favorite websites. And you know what that means? We're left out in the dark of getting uh, our high speed. If they're picking their favorites, they're not going to pick the average Joe as a favorite. They're going to
exactly. I
pick.
mean, you're putting
Go
us
ahead.
back in a position where I'm sorry, Pedro, but you're putting us back in a position where the millionaire billionaire club they have the ability to now, you know, pay in and make sure that all of these companies, they got the best stuff. I mean, they're number one on the search engines. They're all of this. Again, that regulation keeps all of that stuff from happening. It keeps them from monopolizing the whole system. You know what I'm saying? Where yeah, you can go to Amazon, you can download or do whatever you want, with lightning speeds. But the minute you go to, Sandy's crafting website or whatever, it takes you, 5 hours just to be able to put something in your cart because of the throttling back. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, if I'm paying for stuff, why are you going to throttle me back after I get to a certain point? That it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, let people, if you're going to provide 4G, provide 4G. If you're providing 5G, provide 5G. Whatever it is, whatever you're providing, provide that. Don't put a throttle on it where you can only use 2 gigs a month, you know, Come on, man. You act like you're getting ready to run out of something. There's nothing there to run out of. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So uh, I don't know. That's where
Correct.
I'm at with it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense because they could prefer their workers, they could prefer a firm, they could prefer an entertainment company. Let's say you have a small entertainment company and they prefer the Netflix or Peacock, whatever it may be, over your media company, and you're getting throttled just because based on who they like.
Right. And that's on, again, that's on the business side of it. But imagine on the consumer side, let's just say I wanted to go and download movies at Audio Movie Vault, right?
Hmm.
Well, okay, if I went to Peacock or whatever and did my streaming and stuff over there, oh, okay, I get it instantly, right? Because why? They paid for that throttle, to get that high speed. But because, Audio Movie Vault is a group sourcing kind of thing, we don't have that kind of funding. It takes you all day to download one movie. That doesn't make any sense. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not equal access. It's not,
Yeah.
none of that. It should be equal across the board. So again,
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Also, these guidelines can include more security infrastructure. How much we hear about medical records getting hacked. Some company just paid the ransom, and the data still got leaked to the internet. So we need guidelines. We need security infrastructure, and that might, the companies pay. Look, these private owned companies pay ISP companies for internet service. One of the service these internet companies provide, it's a like security. It's security within it's a security within their network, meaning they're watching your connections. They need to keep the network safe, your files safe, and somehow these hackers are able to get in. So we do need guidelines. We need net neutrality, guys. It benefits all of us. It makes it fair for all of us.
And again, just like everything else here at Blind United, we just trying to have equal access. We're trying to make sure that our community can live their best life and keep the same that equal access, just like everybody else. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed what we have going on today and see stories that we're providing for you. We're just trying to keep you informed, have some fun, and all of that at the same time. So, with all that being said, Britt, anything in closing, sweetie? Anybody
Nope.
last final comments? Anything?
Nope.
Thank God it's Friday.
TGIF, y'all. So, again, if you're not busy later on this afternoon, come check us out with the DOR group and ask Greg any question you may have about Department of Rehabilitation, what their guidelines and limitations are as far as what you can get, types of training and all that kind of stuff. And don't forget to gather up all your snacks, come hang out and watch a movie by Jack Nicholson with us tonight. And of course, keep your eye out for the reminders over the weekend, and we'll have a couple things going on there. So without any further ado, I wish everybody a great weekend. And hey, we look forward to hanging out with you again Monday morning with another coffee time. So until then, you have a great weekend, and we will talk to you later. Have a great day.